what's fascinating to me about this Michigan football team is how the players continue to play. Scandal after scandal, so it seems, right? They've lost coordinators. They've lost their linebacker coach. You've seen Rick Minner be elevated. Jim Harbaugh's not going to be on the sideline for a third straight game. And yet it doesn't seem to matter for this football team in the way that, say, it would matter for some others. I wonder what the mentality is for a player when you know you have all this going on around you. How do you stay focused? How have these guys been able to go 11-0 with all this swirling?
Culture. It just comes down to the culture that you've established. And I think Jim Harbaugh and his staff have established a culture that is led by senior leadership, led by guys who've actually been here. And to Beanie's point he made earlier, when you've gone through, like, especially my year, we went 8-4 3 years in a row. At some point, you get tired of hearing people talk about you and calling you mediocre and everything else. And at some point, you decide to stand your ground and go out there and fight for what's important to you. And I think that's what Michigan has done, and that's why I think they've adopted this, us against the world mentality, because at the end of the day, only thing that matters is who's in that building and the work that they're putting in. And then everything else you can silence.
Beanie, what is your read on Ohio State looking at Michigan and all that they've been able to do and accomplish, and then with the backdrop of this sign-stealing scandal, no Jim Harbaugh on the sideline? What's the view for you?
One, they're a good program, regardless of, whatever transpired the last couple of years. You know the type of players they recruit. You know the type of coaches that they have. They went out and looked dominant, too. So they've been very dominant the past couple of years. But in the back of, your mind, you also think, like, okay, is this indication that something was going on? Because all of a sudden, Michigan did become a dominant football team the last couple of years. I know for a while there, they were talking about Jim Harbaugh, if he was going to get fired or not. So, when that happens, you start looking at the records, you start looking at how they've been dominating teams. It's like, oh, is this the reason why? Because they were stealing signs? So that's certainly in the back of your mind, but you also have to go out and play the game. And those guys went out and played the game, and they went out and played very, very well. But, nonetheless, Harbaugh not being there, I don't think that affects his football team. They've had him throughout the week. And like he said, they have a culture there, a culture of going out and playing hard-nosed football. I think when you look at Michigan the last few weeks, what have they been doing? Just dominating, running the ball. They said, we ain't going to pass the ball 15, 20 times a game. We're going to line it up and run it down your throat and prove that we're this mega man type beast, and you got to stop us. So that's been impressive the last few weeks, especially what they've been doing on the offensive end. But I don't think they miss Harbaugh at all. He's coached them throughout the week. So he has the game plan put in and implemented already.
If anything, I think we're missing something, right? As fans of this game, as fans of this rivalry. And it also kind of throws back into this. I think this is, everybody's going to agree, it is the biggest game on the calendar this year. But I'm wondering, coming into this game, where do you think it ranks in as far as the pregame buildup? Not the game itself, but how much we've been talking about it and what it might mean for both of these programs.
Oh, it's certainly probably, up there with the, top 3 games, just the buildup from the standpoint of us talking about it so much. You go back to the 1 versus 2 game, which I played in, you had a lot of implications going on there. I think Bo Schembechler died the week of, so there was a lot of talk during that game. But, everything that happened with Jim Harbaugh, everything that happens with this program, I think that's triumphed everything. And now we're in a social media-driven world. Back then, it wasn't so much where we knew what was going on the YouTubes and the social medias of the world. So I think this one definitely ranks as one of the top ones. So I can't wait to watch it unfold, man.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.